Hello everyone, welcome back to the 80s Slashers YouTube channel. In this video, I will take a look at the classic slasher Just Before Dawn. We will take a look at and talk about the film itself, the setting slash location for this film, all the kills, any nudity, and talk about the Blu-ray itself. Let's get into all of that. So Just Before Dawn. This is a 1981 film directed by Jeff Lieberman, with approximately a $1 million budget. So before we get into all the the key elements of this film and what I think about it, just briefly talk about some of the the main plot points so you know what to expect. This film. Basically, it's about a group of friends, a smaller group. I think it's only 5 friends, and one of them has like a deed to a plot of land way up in the mountains. This is filmed in Oregon. Yeah, the mountains of Oregon. It's very beautiful. So they hop in their RV, recreational vehicle, and they go up for like a camping trip up in the mountains. And on the drive up, they hit a deer, which is a bad omen of things to come, kind of thing. And as they're going up to their campsite, they're stopped by a like the local ranger, forest ranger, park ranger. And of course, he warns them. You don't know you don't know what you're getting into. It's don't go up there. You regret it. The typical trope that we see um, in these type of films. Friday the 13th, Crazy Ralph. Kind of made it famous there. You're all gonna die, kind of thing. And yeah, so that happens to this, and they just disregard him, and well, yeah, whatever. And of course, they tell him a lie of where they're going to be, which is not too smart. So nobody knows exactly where they're going to be, and they take off, and they go up, and they're up there to I guess to scope out the land, but they're also there just to have a good time, party, have some alcohol, have some fun adult time with each other. I think there's like 2 couples, and then another guy. And then there's actually some other people that were up there before them that had ran into some, the killer, the bad guy, and he also warns them. He's all drunk and intoxicated, and the same thing he tells them the same thing. Don't go up here. You're gonna regret it. And they keep going, and they go up, and they pitch their tents and all that stuff, and then yeah, the carnage begins. They start to get hunted by some maniacs who live up in the hills. So that's basically it. It's pretty standard plot. But it's yeah, it's good. This is one of the films that's like it's a really outdoorsy film. Because it takes place in the woods, deep in the woods. There's no buildings. There's no campground, like camp cabins. It's a strictly an outdoor film setting, which is great. Um, Now, the first thing I'll say um, about this is this feels kind of a step above most 80s slashers. A lot of the 80s slashers have a really low budget. They're putting the thing together on the cheap, and trying to make a quick buck. This feels like the filmmakers really care. They took the time and effort to make a serious type of film, a horror film and a slasher film, but like a serious one. That's kind of what it feels like to me. It's very well made. It has strong production values, solid acting. They have George Kennedy in this, and he adds a lot of credibility. But even like the unknown actors, they do a good job. Like you see other films. I'm just like thinking, just in the same genre of slasher, like Don't Go in the Woods. The same kind of plot, everything. Actors in that film are terrible. Oh man, those actors are bad. This film, that all the main actors they're good. They're decent. Not super fantastic, but they're decent. They're really good. And George Kennedy, of course, is in it. He's great. Um, So yeah, it has that going for it. It's a kind of a classy 80s slasher, if that makes sense. Now it, like I said, it follows the 80s slasher formula. All the tropes and the stuff that we have come to expect from these type of films. It does have all that. Um, but again, it plays as more of a serious horror film. Yeah, and actually, I read after watching this, I read the director Jeff Lieberman said that his one of the biggest inspirations for this film was Deliverance. And yeah, I it you can definitely see the Deliverance inspirations within this film. It, kind of like like, even though you have like like the maniac hunting people, that's one aspect. But another aspect is like the man versus nature type of horror, because they're deep in the woods and it's kind of a scary place and you have to survive. It's not, you can't just, it's not a walk in the park. It's the setting is part of the horror of it in a way. And it's great. I really like that. Like at times this kind of felt like an outdoor adventure film. Like there was a lot going on with the setting and the characters, like not even involving the maniac on the loose. It Yeah, it was, there was a survival element to it, like Deliverance. Yeah, really really like that about this film. And yeah, like it was like it's kind of one of the criticism I hear all the time for this is I don't know if it's a criticism, but people say it's a slow burn. And it's true. It's kind of a slow burn, especially for an 80s slasher. But that if it's a good film, that doesn't bother me. Sometimes there's slow burn films and they're boring, which in an 80s slasher that's almost unforgivable. But this one, it's not boring. It's really enjoyable. You get to witness the surrounding like the nature setting, which is just absolutely beautiful, and you get to kind of care for the characters because there's good character development throughout the whole thing. Um, and in this picture, in this film, there's some really great set pieces. We'll talk about a little later in the when we talk about the setting. But yeah, there's some just fantastic set pieces that are just key moments. I think when you think about the film, just key moments. Like there's like a waterfall. There's like a rope bridge. They're super cool. There's a really cool like the RV they travel in. This is 81, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I love the RV. It's just rolling up the mountain path, and it just looks great. I don't know, just there's little things that just kind of make this film stand out for me. Um, yeah, so I really like how the film and the story all kind of unfolded. Really good. And then when you get to the end, I'll skip ahead. I'm not going to spoil anything. But the when you get to the end of the film, throughout the film, it's a slow burn, but then it picks up, it picks up, and there's a pretty good climax at the end. The final fight, the final fight. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it if you haven't seen it, but the final fight is, it's weird, man. Like the way, I don't want to say too much. There's the way that the fight is resolved, the conflict is resolved. I've never seen anything like it, and it's really strange. I was actually laughing out loud, but I loved it. Like I wasn't laughing because it's so stupid. I was like, I've never seen this before. And I don't know if I don't even know what happened is possible, actually possible to do, but yeah, you have to check it out. Just it's funny, man. It's a good, the ending of it is really funny. It's good stuff. So yeah, that's just a quick summary of the plot and what I thought about it. So yeah, let's talk about the setting. All right, so like I said, this film was filmed in the mountains of Oregon, and it's beautiful. Like the whole outdoor setting is just absolutely beautiful. There's tons of like greenage, trees, grass, mountains everywhere, and it just there's certain shots. It just looks so nice on film. Um, and the filmmakers, that I think they had a real eye for just great nature film work, like how to capture these some of these scenes, like some like shots of the mountains. Just driving by in their RV at the beginning of the film, just setting it up like where they are. It really captured the isolation of this. It's beautiful. Like it's just I don't know. Like I can appreciate like the nature elements to this, and these like the daytime scenes, of course, just fantastic. And like I said before, there's like two of the set pieces. There's like a waterfall, in this film, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And they use it like it's not just like a stick up a camera and shoot this waterfall and insert shots into the film. It's used a couple of different scenes, three or four different scenes. It's this waterfall is part of the film, and it stands out to me. Like it's just fantastic. There's some like faraway shots, and you see them walking like under the waterfall. Um, and there's a later scene we'll talk about with people swimming at the base of the waterfall. Um, yeah, it's fantastic. And then we have the other set piece, which is like a rope bridge, like that's connecting like two cliff faces, and there's water underneath. And again, this scene is used. I think there's two different scenes, and it's fantastic. It adds tension. It adds some like I don't know if you're afraid of heights. It adds that. It's yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. And again, they incorporate these pieces into the film. It just makes it kind of pretty memorable, and it adds to the atmosphere of this outdoor survival setting. Um, yeah, I really like that. It's beautifully set. I like these type of films. But another thing, like I said, like these are all like the daytime shots, but when you get to the nighttime shots, like the deep woods setting where this is like you way like there's nothing around you. That setting in itself is it's just a scary place, it really adds to some extra tension, some isolation, some fear. And I don't know, maybe that's just me, but when the sun goes down and you're just like you're caught up in these mountains and there's trees, and it's a dangerous place, man. When there's a killer on the loose. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I really enjoy these deep wood settings, because like I said, it just adds that extra atmosphere and that extra layer of isolation and tension. It's yeah, I don't know. And like I said, it's been done before in these films. Um, like films, like I said, like Don't Go in the Woods, you know, The Final Terror, Madman to an extent, The Forest, The Prey. There's a bunch of these type of films. But I don't think any of them have done it as well as this. Like this seems like a cut above, like more of a classy type of slasher film. Really well done. So, yeah, in terms of the setting, I loved it. I loved it. I loved the daytime scenes, like the nature film work, and then the nighttime scenes. It really really brought out some extra tension. So, yeah, I big thumbs up for the setting in Just Before Dawn. All right, let's get to let's talk about the kills. All right, now for the kills in Just Before Dawn, I'm gonna have to say that for the most part, a lot of the kills happened off screen. We didn't see, like there was no practical effects of kills occurring. There's I believe there's one. There's it's like kind of near the first, and the first kill is pretty good. And there's no spoilers. Maybe I'll put something up of I think a guy like a guy gets stabbed. I can only assume through the genitals, and it comes out his ass. That's the first kill. It's early in the film. Like I said, it's not a spoiler. That was great. That made me laugh, and I was hopeful. I saw that first kill, and I was like, "Oh, all right, here we go. We're gonna get some good stuff." But unfortunately, that was probably the best one. It kind of trailed off after that, to be honest. Um, like I said, so it was kind of disappointing to be honest. So any gore hounds, they probably won't like that too much. Um, so yeah, so after like I said, after the first early kill, I think it's about 50 plus minutes until you get the next kill. So again, slow burn, character development. That's okay. In that 50 minutes, there's a lot going on, and it's enjoyable. A lot of good scenery, a lot of good some decent dialogue. Yeah, so that's okay. Um, yeah, so most of the kills, and like usually in these films, like most of the kills come near the end of the film, which is fine. Yeah, like I said, I was the pacing of the kills. I was okay with it. It's not too bad. Like I usually prefer them, a steady dose all throughout just to keep it lively. But if the film can provide something else, like in this case, like a enjoyable plot and fantastic setting, it's fine. I'm okay with it. I just wish there was more gore, more practical effects. But it is what it is. This is like I said, this is more of a serious horror film. So they're going for something else other than the blood and guts, the splatter stuff. So the killer in this film, like I said, there's no no, it's not like a masked killer. It's not like a big, reveal. Well, there is a reveal. I won't talk about it, but it's not like there's like a big surprise reveal, like someone connected, like it's one of them or something like that. It's a mask, or it's a maniac killer in the woods. You know that from the get go. And the killer, it's not bad. It's pretty. He's big, scary. The best thing is the weapon is it's a huge weapon. This weapon is like a big bladed weapon with serrated edges. It's really cool. It's like it's huge. It's like one of the biggest blades I've ever seen in one of these films. Um, yeah, and like I said, there is a twist reveal, which was pretty good. I You know what? Well, I'll talk about it when I get to talk about the Blu-ray. But there is kind of a spoiler, so not for me in the Blu-ray itself, which we'll talk about. I won't spoil anything. Um, so I kind of, as I was watching this, I kind of had an idea of what the reveal was. So yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to this. So stay tuned for like when I talk about the Blu-ray itself. Um, but yeah, so I guess what I'm saying for the kills here, this is not a typical 80s slasher kill type film. But because we have such character development and you cared for them, the kills were really impactful. So that's something. Usually these people get killed and you're glad to see them go because like they're annoying or they're just who cares? They're just minor characters. Um, but you get to know all these characters and you kind of like them. So when they finally die, even though you don't get to see, you know, the gory practical effects, it's still it's impactful because it's more of a it's taken more seriously. So yeah, like I don't want to talk bad about the kills in this film just because it's not what we're used to, but they're still decent. They're very impactful, and it is what it is. It's what you get with this film. So I have no complaints. I liked it. So yeah. So that's all I have to really say about the kills. So let's talk about the nudity. All right. So just before dawn only has one scene of nudity, but it's a pretty good one. I'll have to say it's a pretty good one. I wouldn't say it's like gratuitous. It's not a gratuitous nudity scene. A lot of these films, the girl's just walking and she's just like, "Hey, look at me," and just lifts her shirt up, and that's it. Just a way to throw in some breasts kind of thing. This one is more natural feeling. It's a scene where a girl is just swimming with her boyfriend and they're like skinny dipping and they're just kind of fooling around and people are watching and they're just having a good time. It's part of the character development, part of the adventure. Like I said, the outdoor adventure. They see a waterfall. Let's go swimming. It's really organic and natural feeling within the film. And yeah, you get to see some nudity, and it's like I said, it's not like overly gratuitous, but it's a pretty long scene. It's fairly extended, and it's yeah, it's a good scene. It's so and that's it. That's it. That's all you get for this film. But yeah, it's a good one. I enjoyed it. So like I said, the nudity's not gonna be the big draw for this film, or the kills. To be honest, this is its own kind of thing. But at least it's in here. It's like I think they knew, we had to put some nudity in, but let's make it organic so we're not forcing it into the film. And they did. I think they did a good job. It feels really natural. So yeah, so that's it. That's all. There's not much to say about the nudity. So so yeah, so let's move on to talking about the Blu-ray itself. All right. So I talked about this. I mentioned this earlier, so I'll get this out of the way. Um, when you first start this film, there is like a, I don't know how long. It's like 3 minute. It's like a 3 minute interview clip of the actors, like currently, like whenever it was filmed, like in the 2000s sometime. Like they're all like they were teenagers or 20-year-olds in this, and they're like in their 40s or 50s in the interview. And it's, it's kind of ridiculous. They're goofing around. But they mentioned something about like a spoiler about like the big, like the reveal in this film. They talk about it as if it's no big deal, and they're like, "Oh, you're about to watch this film," and they blurt it out, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it like I didn't know exactly what they were talking about, um, but it was in my brain. So as I was watching it, I'm like, "Oh, that's what they were talking about," and so I kind of knew what was happening. So if anyone's watching this for the first time, just mute that or fast forward through it and you can go back and watch it after. It should have been a special feature on this. I don't know why they put that 3 minute introductory clip in the front. It didn't need to be there. Um, yeah, that kind of pissed me off, to be honest. I was like, oh man, why would they do that? They kind of spoiled like one of the main plot reveals. So so there's that. So that's whatever, man. um, if you've seen the film before, it's not going to matter. You can watch it, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, so the actual picture quality, the film looks decent. It's not the best I've ever seen. And I feel like it's probably due to the fact that they're shooting outside, and I'm assuming they used a lot of natural light. Um, maybe they had some lighting setups, but yeah, there was probably a lot of natural light, and it's probably trickier settings, and so it's not as sharp. Like it looks good, it looks clean, but there's not like some of the close-up shots. You get some good detail on the faces. It's cleaned up pretty good, but for a lot of like the faraway shots, and there's a lot of them because it's a lot of nature shots. It's just it's not the most sharp I've ever seen for these type of films. But again, it's decent. It's fine. Like I've seen much worse Blu-ray transfers than this, and but I've seen a lot better as well. Again, I think it's just a product of where it was filmed. Same thing with the sound. It sounds fine. There's no, it's not. There's not a bad dubbing track. Like when you, like, again, I keep comparing this to Don't Go in the Woods. Um, but that one has a terrible dubbing track. Don't Go in the Woods. And a lot of the European slashers, the English conversion they're dubbed and they sound weird. They sound off. This one sounds fine. Like the actors sound natural, normal. It's clean. There's no loud special effects or like overhead Atmos tracks or anything like that. You don't need it for this film. Yeah, it sounds fine. So the case itself is, this is the Code Red. This is the newest Code Red release that just came out last month in January 2021. So I just picked this up, and from my understanding, the previous couple releases from Code Red, it's very similar. I think you get the same disc. You get different packaging, um, but it's very bare bones. You get the disc, and that's it. No reversible cover art, um, no slipcover that I got anyway. Um, and I will say there's a couple different cover arts for this film. This one's okay. I like the black and white, like the shadows. It's kind of cool, I guess. The, when I first got this, I was like, I don't like this. But there's I'll put some up here. Like there's the one that everyone's probably most familiar with. It's like a yellow cover. I like that one. I would have liked that for this. Uh, like even just like a reversible cover art. The coolest one I've seen, I think it's a European. I don't know if it's like UK or somewhere else in Europe, but there's one that shows like actual of like a scene from like the rope bridge scene. That cover I would have absolutely loved. That's super cool. But yeah, so this is what you get. So it's okay. Um, Special features. There is a really so okay. First off, I didn't even mention this at this point. There's two cuts of the film on this. There's the original, um, I guess it's just the original theatrical or whatever version of the film, uncut, from the original negative there. And then you also get an extended international cut. Um, I watched just the original uncut version. Apparently, the transfer is way better on that. The extended international cut, from my understanding, is the picture quality is not nearly as good. It's quite a bit longer though, so I may check it out. Let's see, does it say the 91 minutes? I think there's a stamp over that. I think it says 102 minutes. So you get like an extra 11 minutes of footage. So that's something. But um, I don't. I could be wrong. Like I say, when I talked about the kills, I don't think there's going to be a lot of extra practical effect kills on here. Maybe there's some, but it's not going to be enough to like make this like a Friday the 13th type level of practical effects. So yeah, so maybe I'll have to check out that the extended international cut and see what it is. So yeah, and then besides that, we get there's a whole bunch of on-camera interviews with some of the stars of the film. We get that a lot. But the really cool thing, there's like it's about an hour, a featurette, a making of featurette, which is great. That's a whole hour is fantastic. So I'm glad it has that. That's fantastic. It's got the trailer and all the other stuff. So region free. So as a whole package, this is fantastic. Can it look any better and sound any better? Yeah, probably if they ever do a 4K scan or something like that. But again, just the source material, being shot where it was, it's not going to be your most razor tack, resolution that you're gonna find. So yeah, that's it. I definitely recommend this version. This is the only one you can get. The other ones are out of print and were selling for crazy prices. So if you want this film, I would jump on this before this one goes out of print. It probably will. The first two versions they did, Code Red did, they sold out. So I would pick that up. All right, so let's move on to some final thoughts. All right, so yeah, just before dawn, I thought this was a great horror film. Um, i- i- it's still a good 80s slasher, but just as an overall as a horror film, I thought it was fantastic. Really liked it. It had the good acting, it had good production values, some decent tension. Everything was well done. Um, like I said, it's still a great 80s slasher. 'Cause it follows that formula. It just not the cheesy type that some of these films can have. It's more of a classy type of 80s slasher. Yeah, um, it's just really enjoyable. I just really liked every part of this film. I thought it was fantastic. Um, like I said, like if you're gonna watch if you prefer your 80s slashers for blood and guts and TNA, it this may not be up your alley. But if you just want to appreciate a well-made horror film, check this out. It's real good. Like I said, of all like the deep woods type the subgenre of the 80s slashers, like Don't Go in the Woods, The Final Terror, Madman, The Forest, The Prey. I think this is probably the best one. Some of those have better kills. Some of them have better some better nudity. You could argue that the setting was better in some of them, um, but just as the overall film quality, this is probably the best film for sure. Um, so yeah, guys, that's about it for this film. So for this review. So yeah, just thanks everyone for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I put one of these out every video out once a week on Fridays. So yeah, that would help the channel a lot. And if you like this review, I'll put up like another review I did for Don't Go in the Woods, a similar type of film. I'll put that up here, and yeah, you can check that out. So, all right, guys, until next time. All right, see ya.